Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Alliance Forever. Today I have a very special cast for everyone. I have a Phantom game. You heard it right. It is a Phantom game on Bunny Roanoke, which is, I guess, the very traditional Phantom map. For all of you that are not aware, Phantom game is very similar to Among Us and other like deception-based social games where you usually have some traitors or, pretty much the enemies of the innocents or the larger group of players. So in this game, there's going to be 4 innocents and 2 traitors. The job of the innocents is to kill all the traitors, or the phantoms in this case. And the phantom's job is to kill everyone else, including the other phantoms. Pretty much becoming the last man standing as a phantom. So let's go ahead and introduce our players. Starting in the 12 o'clock position to the north, we have Hatsi going first land in purple as a seraphim. In the 1.5, 2 o'clock position, we have Winter Wonderland as well going first land in blue, as well as the Seraphim. In the 4 o'clock position, we have Nick01 going first land as an Aeon in crimson. To the south, let's get this little icon away. We have Overlord 1313 going first land as a Seraphim as well in white. In the 8 o'clock position, we have Pants going first land in red as a Cybran. And in the 10 o'clock position, we have Thunderstorm XX going first land in yellow as a Seraphim as well. So for player factions, we have 4 Seraphim, an Aeon, and a Cybran. So no UEF are represented in this game. And this one's a little bit different. Instead of starting out with nothing, all of the players start off with the exact same setup. So they can skip that early stage. And all the phantoms know who they are right away. It's not like a random, I'm going to join the game and then maybe I'll be a phantom. Immediately, first second of the game, you already know you're a phantom. And if you can't tell, there is a bonus that the phantoms get to their eco. And you can kind of tell just based on generated eco who the 2 phantoms are. You have Hatsi in the north in, again, the royal purple. And the other phantom is Overlord 1313 in the south. Everyone knows, has vision on everyone. So everyone's friends with each other as of right now. But I think it's about the 5 or 10 minute stage. I forget exactly. We'll see it soon. Everyone will end up knowing who the phantoms are and just war will break out pretty much. The advantage and kind of disadvantage that both the phantoms have in this game is that they're on the opposite sides of the map, so it's really hard to fight one another. But they're flanked by 2 innocents. So the innocents is usually just kind of group in together, kind of like this, and just pincer maneuver them the entire time and lock them out of navy and air and that kind of thing. But innocents can ally with phantoms later on and group up in a more powerful phantom. So there's a lot of shenanigans that happen throughout phantom games, and it's pretty much like I said in the beginning, phantoms are just out for themselves at the end of the day, and innocents want to stick together and try to win as a group, even if it's obviously one is left standing as an innocent. And I also wanted to thank everyone again for helping me reach 250 subs on the channel. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. The vote is still going on as of the time that the video is recorded and going to be published. And so you still have time. If you haven't done your vote, please do so now. Again, I don't have an exact time when I'll do the recording for the celebration cast, but it'll be probably sometime, at least in my time, in about the afternoon, probably about 3 or 4 Central, Eastern, the U.S. time, pretty much. I think about, let's say, 4 o'clock Central time would be about the time I'd say, okay, I'm going to cut off all the votes. And there's a decent amount of votes. There's, I think, 25, 26 votes. So, again, thank you all to those who have participated. And for those who are watching it before the cutoff, thank you so much for participating. And those who have watched after the cutoff, I will be doing more of these viewer votes in terms of what they want the celebration casts or videos to be. So again, look forward to that as, again, time progresses. So there's not going to be a whole lot of aggressive moves out in the beginning because, again, everyone can see what everyone else is doing. So you can't really do anything sneakily. We are noticing that Hatsi, one of the Phantoms, is actually getting a naval factory constructed. Again, this is water, like 90-something% water. Navy's going to be a big element in these games, and they usually are. They're just designed that way. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of our innocents kind of notice that that's happening kind of right away. Overlord 1313 is also just ecoing up. A thing that everyone does get, however, is hives. That's just something everyone has access to because of the mod. So it's not just the Cyberans gets hives, but everyone does, just for the build power. I don't know. I think it was the community decided on hives. I don't know why they don't get kennels as well, but I feel like they just said hives are the best options, so why not? Kind of thing. So we're going to see, again, Overlord prioritizing build power first, and you can spam out a bunch of, battleships, subs, aircraft, that kind of thing. And nobody has really said anything in chat as of yet of who the Phantoms could be. It's eventually, they eventually start like, okay, you shouldn't really have that much given the eco stages. In terms of ranking, we have 1400 to 1800. So the highest rated player in the game is a Phantom of Overlord 1313, and at the mid range, about 1500 is the other Phantom, up here on the 12 o'clock position. So it's not overwhelmingly in favor of the Phantoms, and it's not overwhelmingly in favor of the Innocents. I'd say it's pretty balanced. And it is, again, 4v2 in a sense. So you kind of have to, balance it out that way as well. We have a naval factory, a couple of them going down for Thunderstorm as well. And then we're starting to see pretty much all of our players kind of starting to get build power up, getting up factories up, because they know it's coming, right? So it's not the 5-minute mark. I think it's the 10-minute mark that Phantoms are known to everyone. And that's just when everything just goes off. Different versions of the mod. Again, no one knows who the Phantoms are, obviously, and no one knows if they are going to be a Phantom or not. So I feel like this version of the mod, it just kind of starts everybody off out of the get-go. There's no slow progression. It's just right off the bat, good to go. Full send it pretty much. You can see the meta just building a bunch of hives along the shore, and then spamming up factories in the front and the back half of the little islands that they have. These side islands, they have a mechs, and they can put artillery, they can put more factories around them, but usually it's just factories around the main island, and then just survive is pretty much the goal. So I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, just so that we can get to that point of mass chaos. And again, just want to shout out, thank you so much for all the comments, helping me figure out my audio, my video, all of that kind of production quality stuff. I greatly appreciate it. Again, and I also thank everybody for correcting me on how to say people's names and what units do in terms of abilities or how much damage they do. All of that stuff helps me better myself as a player of FAF, a caster of FAF, and just an overall YouTuber in general. So I want to just shout out to everyone who has done that. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Looks like we have some oh, this is interesting. We have some SACUs being built, and my highlight mod thinks all of those are the ACU, so that's going to be annoying. Well, okay, I do apologize for that. It is a version of a mod, so the highlight mod might not work necessarily well with the Phantom mod, so I want to apologize for that now. There's going to be a lot of circles everywhere, so again, I do apologize for that. We have some expansions going on with some of these engineers out from Pants, trying to get maybe some shields up, maybe getting some mass fab farms, something like that. But you can see the ecos just accelerate for both of the Phantom players. We're talking about over 600 something mass for both of them. I wish it kind of did a total for like Innocents versus Phantoms, how much generated eco they have. But this mod doesn't do that. Or the scoreboard doesn't do that, I should say. Man, look at all that spread. Both of those Phantom players. We are having players on the Innocent side getting up Rascoms as well. Question mark? They're like, Nick's like, that's a lot of build power and a lot of Rascoms. I don't like that. So he might start to have doubts of the innocence of Overlord 1313. Sonar going down. Very good to see that. Gonna probably move that in the middle. Just to get a wider range. And you can see the range on that sonar. It's about half the map. It is a 20 by 20. So, lots of area for our players to just spread their navies out. And this game's going to have artillery and nukes and a whole bunch of craziness. There's definitely that like high octane action that you see on a lot of like settings games and a lot of high level games. Just there's just a lot of craziness that happens, and these are fun to watch. You don't see them very much, and it was hard for me to find a good one. A lot of them had like desyncs within 15-20 minutes or even 5 minutes. There was a better matched up one that I found that it was 10 minutes in, boom, desync. I'm like, well, can't cast that game. So this is like the best one I could find within the last 6 months. I don't think I went back a year. I think it was about 6 or 8 months. We have some battleships appearing here for the comm of Thunderstorm. We have these, Seraphim battleships that have those on-base nukes. Wouldn't be surprised to see some of those be spammed up for him. SMDs, very important, especially early on. He's the only one that oh, nope, the Overlord has one. That's really about it. Hachi isn't getting one as of right now. At least it hasn't been built yet. And again, for those that aren't aware, I have this little highlight mod thing that allows me to it points out like, oh, that's an SMD, and oh, that's a tactical missile defense, and oh, that's a nuke, and stuff. And I'll post a list down in the comments of all the mods I use. I only use like 2-3 of them, so not a whole lot. And of course, the Supreme Scoreboard, of course, because you honestly, you can't play FAF without that. Everyone has that. It's like the only scoreboard that should ever be used, and the developers for FAF should just remove the old one and just hard code the Supreme Scoreboard into the game. My opinion, but if everyone uses the mod, why not just include it and then be done with it, kind of thing. That's my logic, at least. Oh, look at how many Rascoms does Overlord 13 have? He has 36 already. That's such a lot of mass. And Hatsi has, oh, those are hives. Those are not. I want to select the Rascoms. 37, so they're pretty on par with one another. And Rascoms are appearing again for pretty much all, well, they're pairing for the 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock positions for Winter and Thunderstorm. They're not pairing for Nick or Pants, which is surprising because Pants is a 1700. He should know that Rascom should be a priority. And it's not the 10-minute mark. Maybe it's the 20-minute mark. And I'm sometimes terrible with timing, so again, I apologize. But what's this? He has Rascoms here, and they're not. What? That's not okay. Why is it that these players it affects the highlight mod, but not these two? Right? It might have to be with like team 1 because they're all split between like team 1, team 2, team 3. Well, maybe that's why. At least it's for the innocents. Wait, oh, I mean, but I kind of prefer that for the Phantoms because they're obviously kind of on their own teams, same team kind of thing. But anyway, let's get back onto the action. And we're at the 18-minute mark. We're about to see some splits going on. It'll say like broken faction or broken alliance with such and such. Again, maybe I'll speed it up just a little bit more. I don't want to miss any of the action. We're seeing some build. Oh, we are seeing some build up here. Let me slow down just a little bit. Over here to the east, it looks like somebody knows something's going on. Nick's like, I break in 1 minute. Be mass positive for the mark, please. Mark, question mark. That is, of course, Overlord talking to Hutzi in the north saying, make sure you have a lot of mass available so you can just spam stuff up as fast as possible. And it looks like Overlord is negative as of right now. A Paladin mark has been used, however, that was not the player. It looks like there's a, I forgot, there's also like a Paladin. It's kind of like a mix of the eco boost that the Phantoms get, but it's not as much for one of the Innocents. And it's pretty much the Phantom saying, we want to like mark the Phantom, and they were incorrect. Or Phantom, the Paladin. But the other Pala is noob. Not him, but whatever the other Pala is. Oh, the other Paladin is noob. I don't know what that means. But anyway, it looks like some alliances have been broken here in the southern side of the map. You can see now it's just the two Phantoms in a war against all of these Innocents. Action is starting to go down here in the southern pond area. We got some of these destroyers and frigates moving on the army or the navy of Nick. And in the north, we have a huge effort from Thunderstorm to just push back all of these factories and SACUs from Hatsi. I would like to see some reinforcements out from Winter as well to help support his partner here in the north. And because he's not pressuring them on both sides, it's going to be very hard for only one player to shove off a Phantom from their island. And you can see just the power and stay that these Phantoms have. They're able to just shove a bunch of units forward. Look at all these battleships that have been spammed up very quickly. We already have 11 battleships for Overlord. That's an insane amount. And there's not a whole lot going on for Hatsi. He did get a bunch of aircraft carriers for air production. And it does look like the same Thunderstorm is making a decent amount of progress here on the north against the Phantom player. There are some reinforcements coming in from Winter as well, so good to see that. Getting out some of these Yastels. They deal lots and lots of torpedo damage. And a couple battleships. Would like to see maybe some destroyers, even just frigates. Just shove anything you can throw at him. And the aggression out from Overlord 1313, he's just pushing that front line of Nick, and he's able to get into the back line and take out a lot of this infrastructure and a lot of the units that have been built. Nick went for a lot of these Vesper T2 sub spam. However, again, destroyers have torpedo defenses, so they're able to stave off a decent amount of that incoming damage. But the main point is the fact that there's just units sending all the time. He's also mixing in these Yenzin, these T2 hover tanks, as cannon fodder, and as well as just bullet sponges to be able to just soak up damage and avoid these torpedo bombers coming in from, looks like they're coming in from Pants, and they can't be targeted. Those Yenzin, those hover tanks cannot be targeted by torpedo bombers because they're not in the water, they're hovering. So that is a benefit to hovering. But however, it looks like in the north, Hatsi was able to stave off the attack. The players have been revealed. Let the games begin. So the 22-minute mark, about almost 22-minute mark, everyone knows for sure. But if you know before then it's kind of just break. But it looks like Overlord and Hatsi broke before they were revealed just to get the jump on everyone. Which worked for against Nick. It didn't really work against the players in the north for Hatsi. But look, you can see all of those ASF coming in. Let me slow it down back to 0 once more. And just all of those ASF being built by these aircraft in the back, saving up that precious land space for, you know, mass fab farms, for SMD. I like this little, you know, pentagon-shaped SMD little farm that's going on for the Phantom player in the north. Overlord only has one SMD, which is oh, he has two. Never mind. And he's not focusing the development of any more anti-nukes. Lots of torpedo bombers coming in all the time. However, they're not really grouping up very well, and there's a lot of anti-air. These E2 mobile anti-air cannons, and as well would like to see maybe a couple cruisers in the mix for Overlord just to help stave off more of that incoming damage from those torpedo bombers. But as you can see, the Phantoms are just pushing out in waves. Just every time, every couple minutes happens, they get further and further out from their original island. And it looks like they've marched Nick off of his island. He has to retreat to one of the sub-islands from his teammates and try to survive off of all of the Rascoms he has built up. It's time to leave. You've already lost your main island. There's no real staying power. You can build up as many defenses as you want to kind of stave them off. But honestly, it's not going to matter at this point. One of Innocent is mostly knocked out of the game already, sub 25 minutes. So it's not looking good for the Innocents right now. There's always that threat for the Phantoms in the back of their mind that they might break. They've gotten, a decent amount of eco. We're already at 2K generated mass for Overlord. That's an insane amount of mass. You would have that mass like 25 minutes into like a normal game, the game is over. You won. Just unless you get strap bombed out of oblivion, like you've already won. More and more, and these Rascoms being used as just to soak up all of this juicy mass that's been dropped by his opponent, and just take over the island, spam up all of these mass extractors, get some more factories online, just constantly push the front lines until you just encompass the entire map. It would have been a worse position, however, if the Phantoms were side by side, because then the Innocents would have a harder time kind of flanking them or having a pincer maneuver. And due to that, these Phantoms would just shove one side of the map. So there's an ideal placement for everyone, and there's like the worst placement for everyone. The worst thing is to have an Innocent surrounded by two Phantoms. That would be the worst thing for an Innocent. The Phantom, on the other hand, surrounded by two Innocents, not really the worst thing on the planet. But I am kind of annoyed that the highlight mod is highlighting all these Rascoms, though. I do apologize for that. Again, the invasion of Panspace has begun. All of these Yenzin are just showing up on land. There's no real defenses on the land to help counter this, and it's just going to be almost two Innocents knocked out of the game at about the 30-minute mark, which isn't really looking good for the Royal Purple player of Hatsi. I mean, he's looking at his opponent, his Phantom frenemy, his enemy and friend. He's going to have three main islands. That's a lot of eco. Even just the fact that, Overlord has a lot of eco anyway. It's a lot of landmass. It's a lot of like places you can put more SMD and artillery and a whole bunch of other stuff. We are seeing some invasion in the land game from these Yassaus moving in, taking out these auxiliary perimeter anti-air cannons. There is a small little base for Nick. He did make it to that auxiliary island for winter and is starting to establish more economic production. Credit to Thunderstorm, he is kind of holding back any advancement from Hatsi in the north, as well as his assistance from his ally, his innocent ally here to the east from winter. They're kind of just holding the enemy forces back here in the north, but the issue is on the southern side. Overlord already has control of pretty much these two islands, just mopping up some, remaining forces and all of that. But just what is this? What is this? Oh, it looks like Pants Controlcade wasn't really playing the rest of the game. Looks like, oh no, he did try to teleport in and kill some of the Rascoms. It looks like. I do apologize for missing that. Again, it's really hard to see all those stupid highlights. But that is going to be the first Innocent dead, and it is share until death. So that is something to keep aware of. More Rascoms going down here. I do apologize for missing it. It was pretty much right in front of me, and I missed it. And a couple of those hives go down, but nothing that Overlord cannot rebuild and overcome from. Right now, Hatsi might be thinking it might just be high time to group up with the remaining innocents and go after Overlord. Because now it's looking like it's Overlord in the south and everyone else in the north. And that is not a good position to be. You can see what everyone else can see. Hatsi's like, this is not good. I don't like it. Nick is like all alone on the island over there in the northeast. There is a Tempest built, so this will help stave off some incoming damage from these Yasows. But again, you can just see that all of those torpedoes from all those Yasows are just annihilating the hit points on that Tempest. You know, it is a very good experimental weapon in the Navy game, except, you know, it's not invincible. Nothing in this game is invincible. That is something that to watch out for. Just because you have, you know, 30 battleships does not mean that your comm is somehow having the HP of 30 battleships. Again, more naval armies and fleets being grouped up here in the north for both of these innocent players. Just trying to stave off incoming fire. But unfortunately now the invasion of the white player from Overlord is starting to infect Thunderstorm's main base, his main production lines. He has a lot of factories. Look at all those. How many factories does he have? He has a couple T3. He has 59 T1s. So just, you know, spamming out those frigates for cannon fodder and the like. And now officially Overlord is in control of 3 of the main islands of the game, obviously including his own. Huge amount of attack subs. How many attack subs is that?
Strategic launch detected.
245. We have a nuke out. Where is that nuke out from? Who could it be? I would assume it's from Overlord, but I don't. Oh no, it's out from Thunderstorm. It looks like it's going to go after the Navy. That's a good play considering the fact that he knows that there's going to be SMD built and loaded. And take a huge section of that defense grid. Lots of torpedo launches going down. Takes out a couple of RASCOMs as well. Very well placed nuke there, and that's going to prompt his forces to move in and start assaulting. But just this eastern side out from Thunderstorm, from Winter Wonderland, just not really making a whole lot of progress. And it looks like Overlord just sending some forces in, just doing some artillery shots. Not a whole lot of emphasis on this eastern side. He knows there's really nothing to really fight against. He's like, no, I'll just attack the now highest rated player on the innocent side, which is Thunderstorm, and take him out, and then I'll deal with the other 2. He's crippled 2 players already. It's killed 1, crippled another one, and is about to just run over a 3rd. So again, like I said, Hatsi better watch out, because at some point Overlord's going to say, you know, this alliance isn't really working out for me anymore. Time I go on my own. All these engineers trying to do their best and just getting battered by artillery fire from those battleships. Again, if you've been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit that notification button. I try to release a FAF video every single day. And I greatly appreciate all the views, the likes, the comments, everything I've been getting on those videos, and of course the clicking that red subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll get back onto the action now. Looks like Hatsi is making a play for this northwestern side of Winter Wonderland's base, just shoving that front line even further closer. Looks like Thunderstorm was able to stave off a decent amount of that attack from all of those attack subs, so that's very good to see. However, now he just has, I don't know, 18 battleships to deal with, plus some anti-air. Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of battleships. Look at them all. Look at all those battleships just firing all of their ordnance, their plasma at the enemy. Looks like there's a battleship being built and primary. Oh yeah, they're using the battleship as the nuke silo, pretty much. And they're gonna maybe get another one off before it dies, but kind of highly doubt it. More of those Yasel appear on this eastern side. Going to deal some infrastructure damage. There are some torpedo launchers being spanned up as well. A Tempest has been built, and it fires onto that Hathum, excuse me, and deals 8,000 damage per shot. Thunderstorm says GG. Is he going to leave? Yeah, he just straight up just leaves. Oh, come on, man. You weren't out of the fight just yet. You were being surrounded a little bit, but it wasn't. I will control K as soon Enos are defeated. Hatsi giving the win to Overlord? That's kind of weird. Is that just like a troll? Want to team, says Nick to Hatsi, and Overlord says Hatsi, why? No, dude. No, try it, dude. Because I got no chance at all. Oh, I just... Hatsi sees the writing on the wall. I was a bit hurted. A bit hurted? I don't know what that means. But still, the ecos for the players here in the game, we have 2.2k for Overlord, 1.5 for Hatsi, and then sub 1,000 for the other two Innocents, which are now just on this northeastern corner of the map. And this is given... Oh, look at that. Looks like the Alliance has broken against the Phantoms, and they've partnered... the Hatsi has partnered up with the two remaining... That's... Oh, is it just because there's... No, they're still launching. They see the vision of the other players. Why are they... Oh, Ally 2 NO is a bit control K for me. Overlord just kind of throwing some salt at Hatsi at this point. But why are they... Okay, now they stop attacking. Okay, I was like, I wonder why they kept attacking. They are allied with them. Really weird. That is one thing to keep track of in this game, is who has vision and alliances with who, because... you shouldn't be attacked. If, like, units are still attacking, because that was the attack order from before you allied, you got to be like, no, stop doing that. Kind of bad. Now we see this concerted effort from the northern team to fight the overwhelming aggression out from Overlord. Huge wave of ASF here in the northwest, just going to, all, well, or not, or don't go after the rest of those torpedo bombers. More and more units stream in to the front lines for Overlord. Trying to take out that small production factory that has been hurriedly constructed by Nick. One keeping his comm in the back of the front line. Very good move. Doesn't want any surprise attacks. We have a huge push out from all of these strat bombers. Are they going to be able to get the comm of... Oh, that's not the comm. Are they going to be able to get the comm of Hatsi? I don't think so. I think they're going for the SMD, going for the build power, going for mass fabricators, just taking anything and everything out. Takes out all of those hives. And I hate how this highlight mod takes out a section of that mass fab farm. More bombers land, trying to take anything and everything out that they can. Takes out another section of those hives. Lots of infrastructure damage, lots of economic damage. That mass fab goes up in flames, severely reducing the eco of the purple Phantom here in the north of Hatsi. Hopefully I'm saying their name right. Please, again, comment down below if I'm saying their name wrong. I feel like I'm saying it wrong, but I could be saying it right. Just the bombs are operating en masse, taking out anything and everything they can. Fires on a couple of these RASCOMs. I'm assuming that is the comm of Hatsi in the north, the comm that's by itself. And that's probably the comm... No, that's not the comm of... Winter Wonderland is right here. So if I zoom in enough, I'll see the text names, but it's harder to see it from the, fully zoomed out position. Air Scouts going overhead, trying to get a good readout. What's going on? That's... No, that's not the comm. Where's the comm of the Overlord? Overlord's in the water here, kind of just hiding in plain sight. I'd say that's a very good move, considering the fact that, if you hide with a bunch of RASCOMs, it's kind of hard to see you from a wider, zoomed out lens. We have some of these strat bombers coming overhead, probably going to try to attack the infrastructure of Nick 01. A huge anti-air fight going down with a bunch of these battleships. Look at all of them. Look at all those battleships. All of that incoming firepower coming down. Crazy. These matches are crazy. Just, and like I was telling you, it's like very quiet, very quiet, very quiet. And it just crescendos very quickly. Just like, it's like 0 to 100, just boop. A huge amount of ASFs over here on the eastern side as well. That's actually that air fleet. I think it's fleet. I think it's still... Is it fleet if it's air? Because Navy is fleet. Land is army. I think air is still fleet as well. Anyway. Trying to figure out all the military terms for all the different things. Anyway. We have 3 of these Tempests now been constructed. Repping up its hit points by a couple of these Rascoms. Looks like Nick is starting to, you know, come into his own in this game. Trying to withstand some incoming firepower. Would like to see a little more eco reclaim from him as well, because he doesn't really have a lot of eco to begin with. 3 of the 4 players are now above 1k mass, with Overlord almost approaching 3k mass per second. 3,000 mass a second is just an insane number. Battleships trying to get into the front line. They're not really going to go anywhere. That's pretty much just a mass dump. All those are going to die. Looks like a lot of the aggression coming from Overlord is going to focus on this eastern side. Probably going to cripple the rest of the innocents here on the eastern side, leaving the Phantom v Phantom war to happen. Essentially, in terms of map control, Hatsi is definitely in a better position. He's taken over that old island from Thunderstorm very quickly. And wait, are they allied? No, they're not. It just kind of looks like they do over there. These Rascoms over here, the east, just sucking up all of that juicy reclaim. It's shoving it into Overlord's coffers. Is he like down? Oh wow, he's still negative mass. That's, I mean, being up 3k mass and still being generating 3k mass and still being negative is crazy. Just producing anything and everything he can to just throw at the enemy. And at this point, he doesn't care about how much he mass dumps, because it's like he's just generating almost 1,000, 2,500. He's generating more mass by himself than the entire rest of the game combined. That's insane. That's a lot of mass. And it's just not going to stop. He's not going to stop producing these Rascoms. And I do like this alternating aspect of just, okay, this one builds, then we go over here, build the next one, build the next one, and it just keeps going back and forth. This seesaw effect, this the pendulum effect of just going back and forth. Huge amount of torpedo bombers come overhead, take out, not even take out one of the Tempests, but severely damage the front one at least. But now they're just going to operate en masse. They're going to go after subs. They're going to go after maybe some Rascoms, which is I would probably suggest. Oh, what? Going. I don't know. Oh, they're going after the main. Oh my, that's a lot of battleships. All those battleships here in the middle section of the map. That is so... Overlord says GG in chat. Just like, my life is over. It's over. I'm like, you're generating more mass than than the entire rest of the game. You shouldn't be saying GG at this point. Yeah, you don't have as many units as the other Phantom player does, but you could spam them out quicker than he can. And now the rest of that eastern flank for Overlord is collapsing. He's just sending some auxiliary units just to buy him some time. But it looks like, again, he had a lot of map control. Looked like he was going to win, just kind of hands down. And now it's starting to favor I keep saying the northern team, but the northern team from now on. I feel like Hatsi's going to betray his innocent friends here pretty quick, because he's like, I'm kind of looking pretty good. I have a decent amount of the map control. We have this one little torpedo bomber going after these Rascoms. Lots of anti-air in the mix here. Again, would like to see a couple cruisers as well. But all of this anti-air from these battleships, from anything that can fire back, very good to see. Okay, it just looked like they just ran over one another and were like, we're not going to fight. The torpedo bombers being used en masse by multiple players here in this game. But still, that purple army incoming from... Navy incoming from Hatsi is just forcing all the attention from the west and eastern flanks for Overlord to this center flank right here. He's spamming up all of these torpedo launchers, these T2 ones. They're not as good as Harbs, of course, but, again, something's better than nothing. Spamming up destroyers, spamming up battleships, spamming up anything and everything he can. Why you ally me? Because I'm dead. We don't help purple? Don't. Oh, that's the two Innos talking to one another. Pretty much commenting about the fact that they'll just kind of look like they're helping. T3 Sub Hunter have a heavy AA. You can pull them up. But yeah, that is something that you can do with those Sub Hunters. If you pull them out of the water, you emerge them from the water. They have a lot of anti-air capabilities. They can be targeted by other units, of course. The anti-air is very effective. I wouldn't say as effective as cruisers or aircraft, but I'd say like better than a lot of the other ships that are available to our players here today. Look at all those RASCOMs building multiple factories up here to the west and to the east. Just a lot of firepower, a lot of infrastructure going down for him, and just that one line, all of those T2 factories in the back line. I don't even know why they build those, just to have more, you know, build capacity capabilities is what I would suggest. But gunships being spammed out, lots of all these missiles coming out from these anti-aircraft, these aircraft carriers. The production yards for Overlord being focused down by all of this incoming plasma fire. Are they going to be able to finish that next destroyer? No, not going to finish that. And just, do they know where the comm of Overlord is? They do. They can see the comm. I wouldn't be surprised to see some bombers coming overhead and take that out. Hatsy's talking to his teammates. Why are you building up a bunch of units here? Overlord has built an experimental. What? Ooh. Oh, it's a Yolana Os. Oh, and its missile is loading very quickly. Ooh, that's not really great for the northern team right now. You guys prepping to fight me? And Winter's like, no, we're not. Sorry, I was AFK. I mean, I kind of might believe that, but 4 Tempest, decent amount of RASCOMs, infrastructure, some factories going down. Where is this going? This is point defense nukage going on right now. It's a Yolana Oz point defense nuke. You don't really see that very often. Go ahead and zoom. A lot of symbols. Let's go ahead and zoom in on that action there. That nuke is going to land here pretty soon. Of course it will land. There is no anti-nuke in the area. And it's just going to radiate out all of its plasma. Let's just watch it just burst out, killing everything in its wake. Huge hole torn in the aggressive front line of Hatsy. And look, all those battleships are gone, and a huge amount of relief that has given to Overlord. That was probably his saving grace right there. That was the play that pretty much kept him in this game, because at some point he was going to just be overrun. He had, you know, gunships, he had other stuff being built, but there's now a nuke going for this eastern side. I think it's going to go for that little fire base sort of thing built from Nick. I mean, that's his only base now, to be fair. No help, it's GG. He has YOLO. I mean, just because he has YOLO does not mean that you can't still kill him. There is a nuke that gets released. Only one nuke gets off, though, from its silos, because there was only one built, and that nuke is going to land. Oh, that's going to hurt all of that base. And Nick's like, no, why? Why'd you do that? That was my only base. Oh. I see built another experimental. Oh, what is it? It is a Awasher. Those experimental bombers from the Seraphim, the best air experimental in the game, of course, my opinion. Let me know what your favorite experimental, air experimental specifically, is down in the comments. Another nuke gets released from the silo of that YOLO, and it looks like now the two Phantoms have now teamed up once more. Everyone is now allied with one another, except for the two Innocents. They aren't allied with Overlord, and that nuke is maybe, what's it going? Oh, it's going for that army or that navy fleet out from No Help. It's GG. Thunderstorm keeps saying it's GG against the Innos, against the Innocent. That nuke is going to land. There's no amount of moving that can stop that nuke from killing pretty much everything in its wake. All of those subs pretty much go down. A couple battleships survive. Not a whole lot of damage on the battleships, but the main sub fleet is taken out. And there's some salt going down in the chat because YOLO is being primarily focused down on the innocents. And I feel like at this point, the innocents have two options. Either just go full send it against Overlord and just maybe hope that Hatsi doesn't betray them, or wait till they die, because Hatsi is definitely going to retaliate with all of these Yasaos nearby. Overlord's the only one that has, I mean, not a whole lot of things going on for him. Another washer has been built. That's the second one. Looks like, oh, no, that's not it. The other one. Come on, tell me where the other one is. Come on. Nope. There's 3 of them built, excuse me. So he is gearing up for some sort of carpet bombing shenanigans. Another nuke goes off, dealing a huge amount of damage to this front line. And there's really only like SAMs and some torpedo launchers. Not really a whole lot to worry about for Overlord. But another nuke gets released again. That YOLO just being spammed constantly. Look at this T1 army. Look at it. Look at all these frigates. Just insane. Look at this. Another nuke is going to get launched. It looks like Nick's trying to build up a bunch of these SMD. None of them are loaded. If it goes... Oh, it does not. It drops short of that small little island. It's going to take out... It's going to take out an Omen. I think you can get away fast enough. Maybe... It does get away fast enough. Doesn't feel the brunt of that nuke. Or super nuke, I should say. Takes out a couple of those Rascoms, unfortunately, for the Innos. Again, we're at the 47-minute mark. It's kind of a a quiet period going on from all players. Looks like everyone deciding just to build up and launch one final attack. That would be my opinion of what's going on, just due to the fact that, if Hatsi attacks Overlord once again, kind of the same situation, put himself again. If he goes after the innocents, Overlord has an opening to take him out. Overlord does the same thing, leaves an opening for Hatsi to come in and take him out. So it's kind of like this, rock, paper, scissors kind of scenario of, if I do one thing, this other thing happens. But the couple of these Omens appear on this, middle of what was once Nick's old island. He has a couple of those torpedo launchers still in the back line, though. No, they were on top of one another. There are 3 Tempests all in that little ball. Hatsi built another experimental, most likely another washer. That is number 4 for him. He is probably going to use those to just annihilate somebody's base. Crash damage isn't really worth mentioning, but he launches all 4 of those bombs. That's going to penetrate almost any shield emplacement. Another nuke gets released. Does this drop short and go after the Tempests? No, it keeps going further into the back line. Is he going to be able to snipe the comm of Winter Wonderland? It's going. It's going. It drops a little bit short of those SMD. Oh no, looks like Hatsi broke with Winter, and that comm is going to die to experimental bomber fire and a bunch of other bombers as well. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Now that drops the Inno teams down to 1. There's only 1 remaining, unfortunately, for them. And they're gonna go after the comm of Nick as well. Is he far enough? Oh no, they kill him as well! So in one fell swoop, Hatsi takes the intel that he got from being allied with them and kills both of the Innos. All the Innos, all the innocents have been completed, and the Phantom War begins. Thought that was for YOLO. You just help your enemy. There is again some salt from the now dead players of all of the Innos. Oh, that is definitely disheartening for them. Looks like you lose 100% now. Yeah, I get it. You lost. It's annoying. But just stop throwing shade. It's not really becoming. That nuke flies over the main fleet of Hatsi. How far back does he go? He's gonna go all the way. And looks like all of those Rascoms flee because they know there's nothing defending this island. And that bomb, that nuke is gonna land once more. taking out the rest of those hives, and another Rascom. That's definitely disappointing. How many get away? It's gonna be close for some of these. Oh, that one gets stopped. It's probably gonna die. That one dies over there. That one gets killed. So 2 Rascoms, and the rest of that infrastructure go down for the main island. And just all of the fleet, everything's mixing in. Craziness going down here in the middle of the map. The Phantom Wars have begun indeed. That's a lot of things on screen at one time. You got battleships, you got gunships, you got frigates, you got Yasau, you got experimental bombers flying overhead. You got, you know, anything and everything you can imagine flying over to the base of Overlord and to Hudson all at once. Look at all that incoming firepower. And Overlord's got to know that those were coming at some point if he was paying attention. Do they get intercepted, however? One of them is going to be killed, it looks like. Another one is about to fall. A couple of the bombs get released. Some of the shields fall. Crash damage occurs. The YOLO does not go down. Takes out a lot of the Rascoms and BP. But that nuke launches and the YOLO is not destroyed. Yeah, drop damage got lowered. And that nuke gets launched. That is very disappointing for Hatsi. Oh, that's gotta hurt. I could have told you, but you were... Oh, again, just salt going down in the chat. Love to see it. That's got to be very disheartening for Hatsi. Could have killed that YOLO. Killed a lot of that build power, that Rascoms, with that explosion from the YOLO. Looks like it's getting full send all the way into the back line. Where's it going? It's going after this one factory that's not really worth it. I mean, it's going after these auxiliary T3 factories, but I wouldn't say that'd be a good target. Could have targeted this. Could have targeted, you know, these over here, but just went for that up there. It's kind of a weird play. Don't know the tactics behind it. A huge wave of 556 spy planes. Like, I am going to see everything on the map no matter how much AA you have. Sorry. That's a lot of spy planes. Another launch from that YOLO. Gonna suck up all that mass and funnel it into nukes. When has help versus white with your army, you win this battle, you're losing. GG. Again, more salt going down from the innocents, from their watery graves or land graves, depending on where they died. Nuke gets launched. It's going in for more production yards, I'm assuming. Where is it going? I don't know where this is going. This is kind of a weird nuke. A lot of these Yasau, oh, they know where the comm of Overlord is, and I don't think it's going to matter. Overlord's going to try to get onto land. Will he make it is the question. I have bug, it seems, from Overlord, and Hatsi says win. It's going to be close. Drops into 0, and that is going to be a confirmed kill for Hatsi, winning the Phantom game as a YOLO nuke gets launched once more. Thank you so much for your time, your attention, for watching the cast. I greatly appreciate it. Again, I haven't found a lot of these. I was grateful to be able to find this one, to be able to send to all of you. And thank you so very much for all of your time, the subs, the likes, the comments, you know, all of the support. I just greatly appreciate it. And again, if you haven't done so already, please vote. And if it's after, like, again, Sunday at like 4 o'clock Central or something, I'm sorry you were too late to vote. There will always be another one of those viewer votes that will determine the game that is casted for the milestone celebration. Thank you so very much again for all of the time and attention, for making to the end of the video. And I know I kind of ramble on at the end, and sometimes during match I do apologize. I kind of lose train of thought sometimes. But again, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.